So what do you do when you're under isolation and you've got plenty of time? Well, of course you buy some mining cards to refurbish. Or at least that's what I've done. Bought 16 of them off eBay for $12.50 delivered. And thanks to Mr. Postman, who has sent them right to my front door. Excellent job. Inside the box, it mostly looks like I've got Gigabyte Aorus RX 570s, but I'll pull apart the box and we'll see what else we get inside there. So after removing them all out of there, it looks like I've received around about 10 Gigabyte Aorus, 4 MSI, and 2 Asus Strix, which isn't a bad haul. And now I'm going to throw it back to past Rick to explain the various problems that these ones had, or at least the noticeable problems. So of the 16 graphics cards that I've received, these 4, all fans seem to be functional. Just a quick flick test. They do seem to have a bit of a buzz to them. I think that might be just common to this exact model. They're all will be tested out further. These 4 here, fans are coming back pretty darn good. Just the flick test as well. So half of that, half of the GPUs that I've received seem to be running all right. Then we've got the Asus Strix. 1, 2 fans no good. Second one, fan 1 good. Fan 2 noticeably noisy. And now I've got 6 remaining Asus Strix. Yeah, nah, Rick, they're Gigabyte Aorus. Of that, hopefully I'll be able to retrieve another 3 graphics cards by combining the fans, if all goes well. So after all that, I've now got the fun test of installing each individual card and checking out what's going on with the VBIOS, or see if it's actually going. So right now I've got the MSI RX 570 Armor 4GB OC installed, one of the mining machines. Currently I'm getting error code 43. So what that's pretty much telling me right there is that there is a mining BIOS installed. So what I'm going to do is just flash back a original BIOS for it, which I've already tested out one that seems to be good. This is currently card number 2 that I'm trying. So if I go load image, and I believe I wrote a current working BIOS. So looking at the actual models, the BIOS itself is identical, the CRC is different, and the image size. So assumably this one at the top, the current BIOS has different mappings for mining. So if I just go program, right now I am using the RX 570 for display, so the display may cut out. Worst case scenario, I've also got a Ryzen 3 3200G in the system. So if it does cut out, I can easily recover it from there. So I'm going to click program, wait for that to do its thing, erasing, now I'm not responding. Currently also there is the latest AMD drivers as of the 1st of April, and bingo. Now with the system restart, that should resolve error 43. Right now we've got it right there. Going to restart the system and see how we go. So from here essentially became a bulk VBIOS flash session and also thermal paste replacement session, which did take a fair bit of time, but it got there in the end. Also multiple fan swaps, issues, trials, tribulations, but overall it got to the end. So I finally reached the conclusion with my bulk X mining cards. With the assistance of the Radeon or AMD driver software, which gives you a breakdown of power consumption, clock speed, utilization, fan speed, pretty much everything you really need to know. So with this little gadget down here, which strangely now isn't showing up in Doom, which was my program of testing. For some reason now I can't actually bring it up. Aha, here we go. So this has been roughly pretty much similar stats to what I've been getting from most of the other mining cards. The Gigabyte does run a bit slower than the Asus. And then the MSI seem to be a bit of a mixed bag. So at the minute I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all them running pretty alright, averaging around about 90 FPS, 90 to 100 FPS at about 72 degrees Celsius, without being too loud. And I've got 1, 2, 3 MSI graphics cards, all them running perfectly fine, around about 90 FPS at around 70 degrees Celsius or 74 degrees Celsius. Over here I've got the pile of dead. I've got one GPU, no display, getting no signs of life out of that one. The Asus, which as I've shown, or might not have yet shown, has a chipped VRAM chip. So that's actually damaged, so and a couple of the traces are damaged on it. So this one was the worst one of the bunch, as we can see. One chipped memory module. Not good. And if I can get my focus going right now, you can see to the right of it, there is a damaged trace. I feel like the last person who had this cooler taken off got a bit rough when they tried to reinstall it, judging by the hole that's there, or at least the mounting holes. So yeah, this is one dead GPU out of the bunch. Anyway, back to past Rick. That one's no good. Another Gigabyte card. This one here shows no signs of life. It's got two dead, I've put the two dead fans on there after mixing and matching, and it gives no life at all apart from a bit of fan spin, a bit of lights. Windows doesn't know about it, BIOS doesn't know about it. Similar story here with the other MSI, it's also doing the same. And down here I've got my favourite, which I'll be keeping. It's got a copper back as opposed to the black back, but this one has heavy salt damage by the looks of it, or corrosion damage, but still functions. Might be functioning at only about 60-70%, but for my needs that'll be perfectly fine. And the rest of these ones over here, and also the other Asus Strix that I'm currently testing, those ones will more than likely be going up for sale as one big batch. So before I'd finished actually editing all this video, I'd already sold 1 Gigabyte Aorus, followed by another 6, and so that brings us to 7, and then I sold 3 more, or all the working MSI video cards as well. So at the minute I'm left with 1 partially working Gigabyte, 1 fully working Asus, and then 4 dead GPUs, or faulty GPUs, which may be able to be revived with further work. At the minute I'm probably a couple of $100 in front of where I started, all for a couple of days of work on some mining cards. Granted, if I was potentially had main boards and processors, I'd be able to flip these for a hell of a lot more, just pumping out some cheap gaming machines. But at the minute I just wanted them gone and just wanted cash back in the bank. So anyway, that will do for the Mining RX 570 video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.